Happy Sunday, everyone. It's the 28th of January, and this is the second installment of the AntiCasual podcast with Billy Finn and Dalton Bassett.
Hello.
On today's show, we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs, some all-star appearances for the NBA, and the Celtics Warriors last night, and a little bit more than that. So to start the show, last week, we made a prediction.
We were both wrong, pretty much.
We
both picked the Jags. We both picked the Vikings. We were completely wrong when it came to the NFC. We were slightly wrong with the AFC, but all in all, wrong.
Yeah, let's start off with the AFC. Excuse me. First game, or the game of the AFC Championship was the Jags versus the Patriots. And for the most part of the game, the Jaguars held the lead. Looked like they were pretty dominant. And
Blake was doing everything he needed to.
Yep, he did everything he said.
He played near perfect.
Yep. And in the fourth quarter, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady do what they do.
Yeah.
They do what they do.
I really do think it just came down to in that fourth quarter. If you look through the play calls, time management, situation management, it really did just come down to who was the coaches and who were the quarterbacks. And Bill Belichick and Tom Brady proved to be the dominant duo once again.
Yeah, and I think right here, I'm not, a big guy for credit. I don't like giving people credit when it's not deserved, but I want to give credit here to Blake Bortles and Doug Marrone for, they both, Marrone with a great game plan, and then Blake Bortles played very well in a very hostile environment in Foxborough. And then, you got to give credit to that defense. It's not easy to keep Tom Brady 24 points. Definitely not easy, especially at home. Like I said, hostile environment. So credit to that defense and credit to Blake Bortles for doing what they do. So let's move into the NFC Championship here. This was a game where we both were completely wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we were really expecting Nick Foles.
I think it's pretty safe to say nobody expected Nick Foles to play like Carson Wentz this week and literally just pick apart the Vikings defense, especially after the beginning of the game. The Vikings came out. They had their pre-drive. They installed it. They scored right off the bat, and it looked like this was going to be a competitive game. But after that, after they threw that pick six, the game was really all the Eagles.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then this wasn't even a backup quarterback like dink and dunk thing with Nick Foles. He was really accurate. Yeah. He was balling. Yeah, he looked like a starting quarterback in the NFL. So you gotta give him credit. And then that defense was that was a real deal. Fletcher Cox was getting after it. Brandon Graham, that secondary was no joke. Malcolm Jenkins balled out. So my question for you, Dalton, is: do you think the Eagles have any chance in hell against the Patriots come next Sunday?
I feel like seeing Nick Foles play like that against the Vikings, who arguably are the best defense in the league, if he can come in to the Super Bowl playing at that level against obviously a weaker defense than the Patriots, I do believe that how talented the Eagles are on both sides of the ball, skill positions, their front seven, everywhere else, they definitely will. I think it's hard to argue that they will not have a chance, but I do think it will be a very close game and that it'll really just come down to the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm be honest with you. I'm not a big Pats guy, but I don't think there's a chance the Eagles win this game.
You think there's no chance?
No.
No chance at all?
Man, I think it gets really simple, man. Tom Brady versus Nick Foles.
Yeah.
I felt more confident in the Vikings beating the Pats than Nick Foles beating Tom Brady. Everything's aligning for the Pats to have that sixth ring.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going into an environment that's actually against them now because they just beat the Vikings in Minnesota. So there's gonna be a lot of.
I think it's tough just because I feel like pretty much anybody that does not live in Foxborough or is a bandwagon Patriots fan,
right,
every year you just want to see the Patriots win. So no matter what, you're going to work it up in your head to where if this happens and that happens, that this team could beat the Patriots and just pray to God that it happens. So that's pretty much what I'm doing just as every year. I'm going to do that until maybe the Pats win the game, and then we'll just have to see what it comes down to.
Yeah, I would love for the Eagles to win. I love the Eagles fan base. I think they're one of the best fan bases in the NFL. I really do think
they're good fans, but the pure ignorance
they're ignorant.
I saw this week just
they're ignorant,
got under my skin.
But they remind me of my Bears fans at heart.
Yeah, I feel that. And then I saw like a compilation video. It was all the Eagles fans acting out, but then they had the Always Sunny music playing with it. So I was like, all right, I can rock with these guys.
Yeah, I think they're a dope franchise. They get a little over the top sometimes, but chanting out F Nick Wright at a game for Nick Wright saying that the Eagles wouldn't even get past the divisional.
Yeah.
That's real tough.
Yeah, I can respect that.
That's tough.
So now I ask, what do you think, now that the Viking season is over with, what do you think they do quarterback situation going forward? Because as we were talking about before, this is a win-now team.
Yep.
They got everything they need, as we've seen, to play for a Super Bowl.
See, the Vikings are in a really, really bad spot, and here's why. Okay, this is a pretty quarterback-heavy class, but they're in a spot where they're way down in the first round, and I think every good quarterback, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, all these guys are supposed to be top prospects, are going to be gone with like the first 10 picks. Yeah. Excuse me. So that leaves you Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson for his guys who are first-round talents, quote-unquote. And I think Baker's going to go pretty high, too. So that leaves you Lamar Jackson, unless you want to trade up for Baker. And my whole thing is, I don't think that Baker would fit their scheme very well, just because their scheme fits more of a pocket passer, and Lamar Jackson sure as hell ain't that. No. So,
well, I mean, even though Baker was in the Big 12 this year, his best numbers came from in the pocket.
Yeah, I feel that.
He did. Granted, he had one of the top 3 offensive lines in college football, but when he was in the pocket and it was clean, he was balling out this year.
Yeah, I understand. But Baker's also got that ability to make plays off his feet, and that's when you really see his highlights come about.
Yeah.
You know, not just throwing football, but running as well.
Yeah.
So I think what you gotta do is, first and foremost, I think you gotta retain Bridge. I think you gotta get rid of Sam Bradford. I think
because
he's just too injury
I don't know if everybody knows, but they have 3. I mean, Case Keenum, arguably number 1 quarterback. Yeah. He could be. They have Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, and Sam Bradford, all expiring contracts. They're all
off contract as of right now. Yeah. So my thing is, I think you have to re-sign Case Keenum, and I think
do you franchise him for 1 year, or do you try to give him just a 1-year deal where you guys can be like, hey, we'll work this out for 1 more year. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll go our separate ways. Do you sign him for multiple years? Do you want this to be?
I don't think you sign for multiple years. I don't think there's any teams that are really like gung ho over Case Keenum. But that being said, I think the Vikings still do like Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Well, I remember even prior to, after we learned about the game that all throughout the playoffs, Case Keenum was under the impression that if stuff was going bad, that there was a chance Sam Bradford would come in, so because he could air it out more. So I mean, Case Keenum, I don't think he ever got the full confidence of Mike Zimmer. Yeah. So that's why I'm just even more worried about it going into a new year where they'll have Dalvin Cook back. Everybody on the defense will be healthy. They'll be coming in with confidence because nobody expected them to get this far, especially and then when they lost, everybody had the Case Keenum to fall back on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can get there with Teddy Bridgewater, a guy they've liked since they drafted him, suffered a horrendous injury, that I think they will do that. Yeah,
and they're in a really weird spot where, well, not a weird spot, but they're in win now mode because that defense is in their prime absolutely right now. You got Anthony Barr, you got Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith.
Smith, we can say, is the most underrated probably player in the league.
Oh, he's right up there. Oh yeah. So you got to be in win now mode, and if you do take a guy like Lamar Jackson, you got to assume there's going to be a 2 or 3 year grace period to develop him.
Yeah.
Because he ain't a pocket passer in this league. You got to be able to throw in the pocket. So moving on from that, another team that's in a very similar situation is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to be a little higher up in the draft than the Vikings, but again, what do you think you do here, Dalton? Do you stay with Blake Bortles? He played okay in the AFC Championship.
This is a really tough question for the secondary playoff Jags fans seeing Blake.
It's a tough.
You just hope for the best for him no matter what, because he's a great guy, produces great quotes, but when it comes down to being on the football field, I think if they want to win a Super Bowl,
it's gotta be without him.
It's gonna have to be without him, and he's the highest with all the talent they have on their defense, all the free agents they've signed, given huge contracts. He's still the highest paid player on that team.
Yeah.
So do you want to sign him for 3 more years, giving him 15 or so mil a year? Do you franchise him again? I just don't see that happening. So I think in this offseason, I think they'll definitely be looking to trade for a quarterback or possibly trade up in the draft.
Maybe you can go out. Maybe you can try to get Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
That would be tough, but I mean, if they had Kirk Cousins, you could put him down as my favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because that team, not only do they have an elite defense, in my opinion,
the best. Robinson back too.
They're getting Allen Robinson back. Leonard Fournette's a stud. They got that secondary running back that played really well in the AFC Championship. I think his name is not Keenan Cole. He's wide receiver. Cyrus Grant, yeah. And then you got D.D. Westbrook, who was a third rounder this year, who was a Heisman finalist.
Marquise Lee still.
Yep. So you got so much talent on both sides of the ball. It's just that one missing piece at quarterback that could really put you over the top. So if Kirk Cousins is there, I think you go get him. And again, I guess you could try to go in the draft, but again, like the Vikings, all your defense is in their prime right now. You don't want to again a 2 or 3 year grace period to develop a quarterback. So yeah, I think
I could also see him going out there and potentially trading for someone like Alex Smith if he still is available.
Alex Smith wouldn't be that bad.
I think he wouldn't. How should I put this?
I think Alex Smith would be a good signing.
Yeah, he would be good for them because he could do everything right enough. To where he's a quarterback, being a Chiefs fan, that I see that he needs certain things around him to succeed.
Oh yeah.
But when he has those things around him, such as a great defense and weapons on offense, that he can get your team where they're going to need to be. So I think if he went to this Jags team that could produce like this with Blake Bortles as their quarterback, that I could also see them going to the Super Bowl with Alex Smith.
Absolutely. So Dalton, let's segue into our next segment of NFL talk. Who do you think are teams that weren't very good this year they'll be good in the 2018 season?
One of the first teams I think of, as you've slowly persuaded me more and more, as I've slowly became a fan of the Bears, is definitely the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Acquiring Matt Nagy now from the Chiefs. They're going to have another high draft pick.
Yep.
They have the young talent, potential elite talent on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
You could see it this year. I think Matt Nagy will hopefully open, now that Mitch Trubisky's played another year, that the playbook will be opened a lot more for him. If they can get him a true talent at number one, they have Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen.
Oh yeah.
Baby
Gronk. And Shaheen.
Yeah, baby Gronk. Not a team that would be necessarily like winning a playoff game, but what were they? 4-12, or what were they this year? 6-10.
They were 6-10.
6-10. I could see him going 8-8 and 9 or 7.
I'm saying 10-6.
10-6.
That's how much.
Is that your ceiling, or is that
that's
what
I really believe will happen. I have that much faith in that.
I think best case scenario would be 8-8. Or
I think 7.
Because they're still in a tough division.
My whole thing with the Bears too is they were a good football team this year. They beat good teams. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Carolina Panthers. And this Bears team had the overall number one hardest schedule in football. And they were in all these games. There were no blowouts. And a lot of these games came down to really bad coaching by John Fox. So I don't know, man. I think if Matt Nagy's anything that he's been advertised, I think they got a really good chance to make the playoffs. I think they could be a very similar to the LA Rams this year, in my opinion. No,
that would be a huge jump. But with those reasons you listed, I could
the Rams were 4-12 last year.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. The NFL's a weird league.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Next team we talked about was the Texans with Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
What do you think?
Having Deshaun Watson come back, obviously, he was without a doubt, most exciting player to watch in football. The time he was in here, that Seahawks game, that Duke out, he was challenging everybody. When that Seahawks defense was at full health, he was challenging Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor. He did not give a damn who was throwing towards. He was making plays.
You know he's good too when Richard Sherman, the man who never gives anyone credit, says this guy's a future top 5.
Yeah, and you saw all the reasons that it could be, and then getting J.J. Watt back because you have that elite defense. This team could be really, really good next year.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the thing that scares me is that as a Bears fan, I love Mitch Trubisky. I love my boy. But passing to Deshaun might have not been a good look.
No. Well, you're not the only team that did it, so you don't have to feel as bad.
The Browns, Hugh Jackson thinks he's a quarterback whisperer. He passed on 2 studs.
Saw that one. John Kaiser.
Another team we really like is the 49ers with Jimmy G.
Same. I feel like all
6
these
6-10
teams
came in. 6-0 rather.
Yeah. Jimmy G really just came in and turned that team around. It was almost godlike seeing him come in there. Like, you literally just saw him get traded from the Patriots, 2nd round pick, and it was like, all right. And they weren't planning on playing him this year. At first, I remember they didn't. Was it the first? Yeah, it was the first game.
Yeah,
was it the first 2 games?
First game, 1 play, threw first touchdown.
Yeah, he threw a touchdown, and then after that team
they exploded. It was like almost like the morale just went through the roof.
If they would have been in the AFC with that team the whole year, they would have been in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
I truly do believe that, and they could have had success
in a weak NFC West. Oh yeah.
And the whole team's young. The defense, they've been drafting defense for the last 3 years in the draft. They had all the high draft picks. Their defensive line's extremely young.
Yeah.
Reuben Foster. When Reuben Foster was healthy, he was arguably Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he didn't play the whole season.
Yeah. I agree with everything you just said. I really do think there could be a team to look out for next year. You can really see why Bill Belichick was really frustrated having to trade Jimmy G because he looks like he's the future.
If he would have stayed with the Patriots,
they'd be another dynasty.
Yeah, so thank God that they played him,
Okay, so with that being said, with every good there comes some bad. Any teams you think are gonna fall off this year? I got 3.
Yeah, well, one of the ones we agreed with were the Titans.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like they're a team. Marcus Mariota. Earlier this season, I wrote that I thought Marcus Mariota would really flip the switch and become
Yep.
that true elite
I don't think you're
first,
alone
second
either.
overall
I don't
pick.
think you're
Yeah,
alone. There are a
I
lot
mean,
of
he
people
showed
saying
all the signs. He was his scrambling had went a lot down. It was more efficient. He was
that.
starting to throw the ball a lot more efficient. But this season, I feel like they were one of the teams. I believe they finished 9-7, snuck into the playoffs. Obviously, somehow beat the Chiefs. But they were in a lot of games to where 1 or 2 plays that they would have lost, and they could have easily finished 4-12. And I know when a team finishes 9-7, you can say, "Oh, well, that's a good team," but you also have to look at the negative side of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when a season like next and they don't have stuff go their way, they could easily be a bad team.
I totally agree. I don't see this team really. Like this team was so hard to judge this year because they won fluky games in really weird ways, and then if you get another year of age with Wesley Woodyard, one of their studs, Delaney Walker, one of their studs. The good thing though, I guess for them is that with another year comes another year of development for Derrick Henry, who I think should
Davis.
be. Yep, Corey
Davis. He was on the field this year. He was a beast.
Yeah. So I guess that's good, but that defense is not getting any younger, so that's not a good look for them. We also talked about the Falcons having possible fall off. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the Falcons the whole year was, this whole season they were the number 1 team was are they real or not? And that's kind of a phrase that we kind of mock now, but it seemed to be what is this team? And they got to the playoffs, and we found out that they weren't that perfect team. I mean, they beat the Rams, but I for me personally, I feel like the Rams. Nobody wants moral victories in football, but getting to the playoffs and flipping that team around was a moral victory.
Sean McVay, easily coach of the year.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
I don't think anybody's disputing that. The only other possibility could be Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
but that's because of their playoff success. But I still think Sean McVay without a doubt.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Falcons too is it's so hard to judge this team because was it the fact that they had a Super Bowl hangover? It was the fact that they just met a really good Eagles team in the division and lost a coin flip game because that game was a coin flip game, you know.
Yeah.
And do you think they beat the Vikings in the NFC Championship? It's all about the way you see things.
Yeah.
I think with that team, I think another year of Matt Ryan. I don't know. I'm not a big Matt Ryan guy.
I think we need to emphasize that these teams aren't necessarily going to be bad.
Yeah.
But the teams around them could be so much better.
Yeah, like the Saints.
Because they're playing in the division with the Saints, the Panthers, and the Bucks, who were one of the biggest disappointments. This year,
the Bucks were huge disappointment.
But I mean, if that team plays right, I would favor them over the Falcons.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, like I said, emphasize that this team won't be bad, but they won't be as good as what they're playing.
Really quick,
that's what's going to
really quick going off script because I want to talk about the Bucks really quickly. What do you think about Jameis?
Jameis this year. I watched Hard Knocks every week, and I feel like I fell in love with Jameis, just as I do every year when I watch
I don't think you couldn't. I mean, the dude was in the gym. He was starting tape. It's like, and I guess every quarterback does that, but they really made it look like Jameis was really about it. Like he really.
Well, I feel like he is about it, but when he gets in the games, he makes too many dumb mistakes, and it's always a mistake at the wrong time that's going to lose him the game.
Yep.
And he's been doing that. I mean, we've been waiting every year, just this next year, like Marcus Mariota. This year, Jameis is going to put it all together. He's going to quit making those mistakes, and the Bucks will be a good team. Yeah. And the Bucks everywhere around them are a good team. They have a solid defense, young defense. Yeah. Mike Evans. They signed Deshaun Jackson. I mean, they have a good team, but it's really Jameis Winston is what I believe is holding them back.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the single defining moment of that team was at the very last game of the year when Jameis imploded on the sidelines through a big tantrum and got in Russ' face. It's like. That just I want to say Jameis is mature, but I don't.
Or even when was the Saints game the last game of the year? Remember when he targeted Marshawn Lattimore? He hit him on the back of the head when he was running the other way, and then Mike Evans came and just bodied him.
Yeah.
So I mean, you do see that immaturity in him, but like you said with Hard Knocks, you had every reason to believe that because he doesn't play bad. If you look at the numbers, he doesn't play bad.
Yeah,
he played like as a whole, he doesn't play bad. But when he needs to play good and win games, that's when he loses, and you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah, I also don't believe in Dirk Cotter very much. I think Dirk Cotter is a horrible coach. I think that team's just so talented, and the fact that you produced 5 wins, I think. Man, what a disappointment. I know Jameis was hurt for a lot of the year, but I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick did a bad job filling in for Jameis when he was hurt. Okay, so moving on to our final team that we think is going to fall off is. And no, this isn't a Bears homer take, but I think the Packers could definitely fall off. I really do.
Okay, I didn't hear this one.
This might be a little rant.
Let's hear it.
When is it time for the Packers to give Aaron Rodgers his well-deserved defense? This poor man, he is, in my opinion, a top 2 quarterback of all time. Get this man a defense because you have wasted his career.
Yeah,
absolutely wasted it.
I definitely do feel like that is the biggest slap in the face of the history of football. The fact, because I mean, it's the Packers they're just so they rely on just finding guys in house. They never want to go out in the free agent market and sign a damn player, and then you see it.
This man is, I think, 33 years old and has been to 1 Super Bowl, and of course he won it because he's great. But this man carried a team. His 2 best receivers were Richard Rodgers and Jeff Janis to the playoff. Like. This dude is an incredible talent.
I mean, we both agree he is the most talented quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I think it's him or Peyton Manning.
Well, him or Peyton Manning, of course. But in my opinion, it would be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
so
and he's right there.
The career has definitely been.
It's just a shame.
He's not getting any younger.
And I'm not trying to be an anti-Bears guy. I love the Bears more than anything. That's my team. But I mean, at what point is enough is enough? Like this poor man has wasted his prime. When he should be winning ring after ring.
I think he's so good that I don't see a fall off as long as he's the quarterback of that team.
Well, it depends because they gave Mike McCarthy a 1-year extension. So they said, Mike McCarthy, we're going all in this year, and if you don't figure it out, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I think then Mike McCarthy has been carried by Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy is not a good coach. No, he's not.
Well, he has Aaron Rodgers, so
right, exactly. Exactly. But when you look at him, when Aaron Rodgers went down with that collarbone this year, and they had to bring in Brett Hundley, that team was awful.
Well, Brett Hundley didn't really make it any better
but still,
nonetheless,
no one stepped up.
Nonetheless, yeah.
Like the play calling was awful. So, man, just a little shout out to Aaron Rodgers, man. Sorry for your horrible GM and ownership. When you have 30,000 owners, what are you gonna do?
I'm one of them.
I have a 0.1% share. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is the NBA All-Star teams and the format and some snubs.
We just first want to say Boogie Cousins, we were devastated.
Yeah.
We were devastated by that injury. He was playing out of his mind this season, and tearing his Achilles at the end of the game just is tragic. So we're sorry. We're sorry, Boogie.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about that first, and we'll come back to All-Stars later. If you're the Pelicans, what do you do here? I mean, in my opinion, I really do think that this whole Twin Towers, as they call them, this whole experiment has been a big failure.
Boogie and AD?
Yeah, been a failure. And it's not on AD or Boogie. It's the fact that management can't get anyone around them to help them out.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. I think Alvin Gentry's got to be looked at to get fired. I think he's a bad coach. There's no way that team should be underachieving the way they are. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do believe that the coaching has been terrible. Obviously, signing Drew Holiday to a big deal, bringing in Rajon Rondo. I mean, that's not going to help that team at all.
Right.
And they had DeMarcus and they had AD last year, and it was kind of like the experiment because they got it before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we're going to play this season, see how this works, and then next year is going to be when we can put it together.
It's the weirdest thing. It's like every team that needs shooting, a.k.a. the Bulls last year, they bring in Rajon Rondo, a guy who literally can't shoot.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
The Pelicans need floor spacing. The only shooter they have in that lineup is Etuan Moore.
Yeah.
And Boogie, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
So I know we talked about what do they do now because Boogie's on expiring contract this coming season. So what do you do with Anthony Davis now? Last night I was speaking with one of our friends, Eugene, and we were talking that obviously this team's going to go nowhere right now because if you lose Boogie, which they're going to hope to sign him, you would keep him in AD. But what is that going to do? So what do you do with Anthony Davis? Well, so if you I believe if you get rid of Anthony Davis, this team will be going down to the pits for the next 10 years. With the market they're in, they're going to get nothing. And as we've talked, we both agree when
Kings 2.0.
Yeah, literally. And we both agree that when Anthony Davis is healthy, he's a top 5 talent.
Oh,
so
easily. How
how do you trade top 5 talent to go down? Because they're not going to get any better going forward with I believe any trade they get from Anthony Davis.
I think it's so hard to tell with Boogie where he wants to go. It seems like Boogie wants to stay in New Orleans, but
yeah, I feel like he does like it in New Orleans.
But at what cost? Because if you're Boogie and you really are serious about winning chips, when is it you say enough is enough? It's similar to Aaron Rodgers. Like you're a top 10 player when you're healthy. Man, life's too short to not win rings, man.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that if someone's willing to pay you the max, Go win a ring with them. I don't care about loyalty. The NBA is not loyal. GMs aren't loyal. Owners aren't loyal. Go win rings. If I'm Boogie, I'm looking at the Wizards off the bat in free agency. I think
that locker room, I mean, they've kind of been having their.
I think their biggest fault with the Wizards is their interior defense and just a low post presence. And I think Boogie fills both those voids. Yeah. And I think that team, if you got Otto Porter, John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Boogie, those are four. I mean, 3 All-Stars for sure, and a borderline fourth. So,
I mean, that team would be very fun to watch.
Very fun to watch, and I think that team could definitely.
But
I'd imagine the spacing with that too.
Well, I guess there's been a lot of talk about team meetings, which every team has, but kind of the most dramatic ones I've heard are from the Wizards. So if you bring a notorious locker room kind of arguing guy like Boogie that could be. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in the John Wall, Bradley Beal don't get along thing. I'm a firm believer in it. They don't look like they have fun on the court together. They don't look like they're buddy.
I doubt they even really. I mean, I would be very curious to know how much they actually just talk to each other.
Which is weird because it seems like John Wall's a really good dude. Like he seems like he's a really fun guy to be around. I don't know. I don't know Bradley Beal, St. Louis kid.
Yeah.
Likes Emos Pizza. That might be a problem. So yeah, I think if you're the Pelicans, you gotta look to move AD, and I think the most obvious glaring spot, and I know Danny Ainge likes him, would be Boston.
I feel like Boston's the only team that has
enough to give up.
Yeah, enough to give up. No, and with a player like that, there's no other team that.
We came up with the scenario of Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, and the Lakers first for Boogie. And I don't think you're getting a better offer than that. For AD, yeah. I'm sorry, for AD. I don't think you're getting a better offer than that. I think if you're the Pelicans,
if you do want to move him, you won't find a better offer, and that's literally what you have to.
Because there's this is why the Celtics are in such a great position. Their team is so young, and they have so many assets to trade up, except for Terry Rozier because he'll never get traded.
He's untradeable.
Untradeable, but they have so many assets to give up. And I think they're one of the only teams in the league that can go out and get these big name guys. And when you're a GM of a team that has a big name guy, the first guy you're calling is Danny Ainge because he has what you need. And
he's a wizard with that stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of Danny Ainge, some credit, he absolutely thrashed the Sixers in that trade.
Yeah.
Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, very, very scary.
Jason Tatum was a bust, though, right?
Yeah, he's very unathletic. He can't shoot. He's gonna be terrible.
Our buddy Eugene was saying that Jason Tatum was gonna be a huge bust.
Well, he's never gonna live that one down because, as you know, Jason Tatum is balling now on a high level.
They're just incredible for a 19-year-old kid to come in there and fill Gordon Hayward's void with very, very few limitations. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, but with, like you said, with that trade, Markelle Fultz is. I won't call any player in their first year a bust.
Absolutely.
I never will. But if you've seen the videos of him shooting, it's scary for his whole career if that's how he's going to shoot or if that's what his shoulder has came to because it's almost like he's shot putting the ball when he shoots it. And that was his game was shooting.
Yep.
Coming off the
mid-range
ball.
jumpers.
Mid-range jumpers, yeah. And if as if the shot isn't good, it takes too much time for him to be successful in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's similar to the Lonzo thing. It's like you can keep working on it, but you have to bank on the fact that kid's going to be able to change the mechanics.
Yeah.
And if you've been shooting the same way for 19 years, I mean, that's really difficult to do, and you don't want to do it. You know? And in Fultz's case, I think you have to. In Lonzo's case, I think you want to. I think there's a big difference. You know what I mean? Because I think Lonzo's got an okay enough jump shot to survive.
Yeah.
Whereas Fultz is like, if this is an actual problem with his shoulder, you really actually have to change it.
It just makes me wonder what is going on in the 76ers locker room for all these top picks to have these injuries that sideline them like this. Obviously, Joel Embiid he's injury prone, but still, every year he was hurt. Benson was out his rookie year. Markelle Fultz now. What do you think could be going on in there? Or if anything at all, do you think it's just bad luck or what?
I don't know, man. I think it's just. Maybe I don't want to say bad GMing because I think Simmons and Joel are gonna be stars for years to come. Of course, barring injury.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe just something in the water in Philadelphia, man. I really can't tell you. Ben Simmons had no injury history coming out of LSU. He had no injury history in AAU, and then Joel. I guess he had the foot injury when he was drafted, but they said if the kid panned out, he was gonna be Akeem-esque. Like they said, he was that good. And he's shown every bit of, not key mask, but he's shown every bit of being an absolute superstar in this league. So
I do just wish though Markelle Fultz could have been healthy because this team is pretty
so
good right now.
watch.
I mean, yeah, if we just see Markelle, I mean, he would obviously be the third option.
Right.
But if you have a team where Markelle Fultz, number 1 overall pick, is your third option,
yeah, and this is like
that offense.
Yeah, like we were talking about, like I remember like draft time. We were talking about Markelle Fultz would come and average 20 a game right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good this kid was.
Yeah.
And now it's scary.
The offense he could produce.
Yeah, and now it's scary to think that this kid literally might not be in the league.
Yeah.
In like, 3 or 4. I mean, of course, we don't want to write anything off yet. He's like 20 years old.
But when you see it on numerous occasions, you saw how they handled it at the beginning.
Yeah, they were showing.
You have to worry.
They were showing a video of him shooting free throws in practice, and this dude actually didn't even hit the rim.
Yeah.
He hit the backboard. That's scary. Okay, so let's move away from that. Let's start.
Now we can talk about the All-Star.
Yeah, let's talk about the All-Stars in the All-Star game. Right off the bat, do you see any snubs? It seems like every year there's a couple snubs.
All right, every year I also believe that if you could replace any dude that you said was a snub and the player that was in is out, he'll be called a snub. Almost every year I feel like that's a consistent theme. So, I mean, there's obviously going to be players that could have deserved it, but I also feel like everybody in the game deserves it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, obviously, there's quote-unquote snubs, but there always will be snubs because there's so much talent in the NBA.
I think there's only one real snub this year, and I really do think Andre Drummond got snubbed.
Over who?
Over Al Horford.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry.
Cruel.
Bro, Al Horford is a very good player, but I saw a stat last night. This dude has only put up 30 points in a game 7 times in his career.
I mean, that's not the player he is.
No, that's not what he is. But bro, like, Andre Drummond's put up 30. Like,
I know. I'm saying I would be fine with Andre Drummond.
And I think, and the only reason that Horford got in over Drummond was because of team success.
Yeah.
But you have to look into the context. I mean, literally, Reggie Jackson's been out the whole year. He's been pretty good when he's healthy for the Pistons. And then, this dude, Andre Drummond has Reggie Bullock, bootleg XXX, playing the starting 3 for him.
I think it's just hard to say no Al Horford when he was. I mean, a lot of people were arguing for him as an All-Star starter.
Yeah.
So I mean, just because
15 and 15,
I know the efficiency that Horford
the free
brings.
throw shooting.
I'm just saying, it's not unfair that he's in, and it's unfair that
free my boy Drummond. Free Drummond.
Okay.
That's my, I don't know, that's my big.
Your one true snub.
That's my one true snub. I think. And then we go to the West. They're saying Chris Paul got snubbed. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Dame deserved to be in there. Dame has been snubbed the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
consistently.
not to mention Chris Paul's been injured for a lot of the year. Like,
he's been out 19 or so games.
Yeah.
But Steph had been out for 17, and he was a captain.
Yeah, but Steph is literally like.
Well, I'm just saying if you're gonna say that.
Yeah, and then not only that, Steph is literally second MVP right now.
Obviously, I think Steph is better than Chris Paul. I would say the only snub that I would have liked to see just because watching this dude play and what he's been playing with would be Lou Williams over Dame Lillard. I think that is kind of the same thing as Al Horford, Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
If either were in, both would be called a snub.
Yeah.
So whoever gets in, congratulations.
Yeah,
but I would have liked to see Lou Williams play in that game because with Blake being hurt, with DeAndre, he's been balling.
Oh yeah.
Coming off the bench too. He's been their sixth man until he started playing again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once Austin Rivers went out and when Doncic went out, but I think it's so hard with these two, dude. At some point, expand it to 15.
Yeah.
Because Lil Williams,
or just lower, or just make it smaller, so then these bubble dudes, you don't have to, because it really comes down to a lot of bubble guys that become snubs.
Yeah, it's just like you can't lie though. Lil Will, like he's well deserving, and I think if you add to more, then if a guy like Ben Simmons, who really wasn't a snub, gets in, you're like, okay, he got in and he kind of deserved it. You know what I mean?
No, that's right.
Like if you even shrink it to 10, then it's like dudes like Kevin Love are getting snubbed. You know. And then it's like, okay, he's obviously an all-star. The dude's like second best player on the Cavs. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know. It's a touchy side. We do this thing every year with the All-Star game. It gets kind of annoying. But still on the All-Star game, I really do like the format. I liked it a lot this year. And the reason I like it a lot is because the discrepancy in talent between the two conferences is ridiculous.
Yeah. So it gives.
And I give the NBA a lot of credit for this. They always find ways to make storylines all the time.
Yeah.
NFL doesn't do it. MLB doesn't do it. NBA's always in the news. Sorry. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do like the idea of the draft a whole lot, and I think as it develops more, it will be televised. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast earlier this weekend. Jalen Rose was on talking about Bill Simmons asked him why he thought it wasn't televised yet, and it was because he said that the idea just kind of came upon and they made it a thing to have the draft, right? So going forward, I mean, at the time they couldn't find a way to sell the draft online. So obviously, you see with things kind of like the halftime show presented by this or this commercial presented by that. So as we go forward, it'll turn into a whole like 2-hour event. And I just don't think that they had enough time this year to do that. So I think with a lot of people curious about that, when Jalen Rose said that, someone who does work with ESPN, that made a lot of sense and it gave the situation clarity why they weren't having the draft on TV. So going forward, I believe they will have it. But the draft, it gave a lot of people stuff to talk about. It was fun to see who's LeBron picked. I mean, he drafts KD and Kyrie. People are still talking about that.
Oh yeah, I thought LeBron. This is why I don't like all LeBron. LeBron, like, bro, just come out and say you took KD #1. Come on, bro. This is ridiculous.
Did he? What do you mean? Did he?
He was trying to act like he didn't take KD #1. It was an interview with Ernie Johnson on NBA and TNT, and this dude was really trying to say like cover up that he didn't take KD #1. It's like, bro, KD's the second best player in the league, and he might be the best.
So you take
like,
#1.
Okay, I don't think he's the best yet,
No.
but he's really close.
Yes.
It's really close. And then, good guy LeBron. I was gonna take Kyrie. No beef. There's no beef there. There's obviously.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's my brother.
That's my bro. We going to war together. But I mean, so there's also been talk about there being a huge. Of course, it fixes a little bit of discrepancy with conferences, but everyone's also said a lot of people on NBA Twitter have been saying that LeBron has a much better team. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just on paper, I like LeBron's team a lot more, and I think they'll be
a big thing too is now Boogie's down.
Yeah, but they, as we were talking about, Paul George is the one who filled in, and Paul George is a great player to have fill in for you. That was a player I feel like could have been considered a snub too, if you want to talk about it like that. He's been playing at a really, really high level this year with OKC, and they haven't had I think if they had more team success, he would have been a no-brainer.
Oh yeah.
So, but. Yeah, with Paul George on the team now, I definitely do favor LeBron's team a lot more.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect fit for the personalities. LeBron was trying to play kumbaya, like, everyone's cool with everyone. Whereas Steph, like, Steph was just like, yo, I just want to get dunked on by Giannis again. I don't know, it fit their personalities pretty well. And I really think it's gonna be really interesting to watch KD and Russ play together again on the same team. LeBron drafted them both. Maybe did that to get a little beef going. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, LeBron is the king of being a little petty, so I feel like the All-Star game is no situation for him not to want to act more petty. So,
and I think Steph was in a bad spot too. When you, I think Steph kind of got screwed with this too because you got to take Draymond and Clay. You can't not take your teammates. Mm-hmm. No matter if you know.
And LeBron's not going to take all of them.
Right.
Yeah. So
you have
that was pretty much picks that he had to take.
He had to take Clay and Draymond, and obviously LeBron took KD first.
I feel like one of the more controversial All-Stars would be Klay Thompson. Do you think that? I feel like he's the guy that kind of gets no love on that team. He's the situation that's.
I think we have talked about this a lot personally.
Yeah.
About Klay. My take on Klay is he's a great two-way player, but I think Klay doesn't average 22 a game right now?
Yeah.
22 a game without Steph Curry, bro, and KD. Bro, he can't create his own shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's everything, it's all spot up. All coming off the pick, all coming off the pick and roll,
and
he shoots it.
It's not to say he's not a great player. He obviously is an elite defender, but and an all-time great shooter. But when you talk about a guy who's like a beneficiary of a system, Klay Thompson comes to mind immediately. And that's not any hate on him, but that's another one that like he would be like, well, Lou Williams is pretty much like off the dribble.
Yeah,
he's creating so much offense. Yeah,
and they beat. I mean, obviously the Warriors were on one leg, but he went for 50 points against the Warriors.
Yeah, like so that's another guy that Lou Williams could gotten over, and had it happened, I wouldn't have lost any sleep over it. I probably would agree with it.
Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely the player I would most like to see. What he could do on another team, just to see how truly,
Same thing. I'd love to see Draymond too, because Draymond's not a scorer, and I think he'd still be an elite defender on any team he goes to for sure. Yeah. But I think he's another guy that benefits a lot from having Steph and KD, because when you have to collapse the defense on them so much, it's gonna give you wide open shots, and stuff like that. But I really do think Draymond's a really good passer for the floor, and that helps him a lot.
I'm not gonna hold the. I'll never hold a team or any player accountable for being around greatness.
Yeah.
So like I'm not hating. I'm not trying to hate on.
I'm not trying to
Clay,
hate
I'm
on
not trying to hate on Draymond. It's just that
he benefits more from that.
He
and
benefits
that's
more
fine.
from it. Yeah, and that's great for them. We see the success, but it would just be really interesting to see what these two dudes could do.
To be honest, like this is just shows how much I really do think Draymond is great. I think go back to 2016, the finals. I think if had Draymond not get suspended, they win in 5. I really do think that.
Yeah.
I think that's how good he is. He means a lot to that team, but if he went to a team like the Magic, he wouldn't mean that much. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard to explain. Okay, so let's move on. Another topic we want to talk about. Trade deadline's approaching in a couple of weeks here. There are some teams that we got to talk about. Should we blow it up? Compete? What do you think? We got the Pelicans, Thunder, and Trailblazers. Let's start off with the Pelicans. What do you think they do?
Yeah, we kind of touched on Anthony Davis earlier in the Pelicans with Boogie getting hurt. I feel like they were at the point to where they were going to try to make something happen before Boogie got out for the season. So that team's kind of just really sad to see right now because they were showing flashes of they could any given night they're going to compete with any team.
Bold prediction. I really do think that they're going to try to make a splash just because this GM is on
a splash for someone or
or they're going to trade something away. They're going to do something because this GM it's slashing his contract. If he wants to get re-signed, he's got to make something happen.
Yeah.
Something at the deadline.
Yeah.
He's got to get something going. So we covered them a lot already. The Thunder are definitely a team we want to talk about. What do you think?
Yeah, the Thunder. They're a really hard team this year. I know we kind of talked about them last year, but I mean when they're on their game, they're pretty much unbeatable. I could see them beating the Rockets. I mean in the series it'd be a close series with the Rockets and both the Warriors. Yeah. So obviously losing Roberson for the season, that one's huge. That's elite defense that you had on your team with a team full of offense, but. I don't know. I feel like they could. I don't think they'll sell this year. I think they're just gonna play it out.
I agree with you. I don't think they're gonna make anything at the deadline. If they do, it'll be something very minimal. Like they did last year, like a Taj Gibson comes in, a role player.
Yeah, a role player.
And plus, what do they have to trade? You can't trade Russ. He's untouchable. You can't trade PG. He's on. I mean, you can trade him, but he's a rental. Like literally a half season rental. So like the only team I could even give him a bid would be the Cavs.
Yeah.
Like an all out just like.
That'd be
shot the moon for LeBron to resign.
Yeah.
That's it. And then Carmelo's no one's going to trade for Carmelo because Carmelo's a lock from cancer. He's a ball hog. He takes way too many face-up shots. Can't stand watching Carmelo play.
But congrats to Carmelo for joining the 25K. That's pretty huge. So.
And yeah.
Another team was the Trailblazers. I feel like that's a really interesting dynamic that they have going on there with.
I want to cover this for a little bit. If you were to trade Dame or CJ, who do you trade? And let's be honest here, Dame's not getting any younger. I think he's 27.
I know. That's why I like the youth that CJ has. I mean, I don't know.
Because when CJ,
I think you would also get more for Dame too.
Yeah.
So I would say trade Dame, but when it comes down to it, I don't know. I think it's
such a hard spot, dude. Yeah. Because if you get rid of one of those pieces, because those ones has to go because that's really all.
We already know what they can do together.
Right.
We've seen what they can produce, and it's not gonna get them far in the playoffs to a championship. So I feel like a lot of teams struggle in this situation where you have this talent, but at the end of the tunnel is always the Warriors. So every team's mindset is kind of like, what do you do to get closer to them? And when you have those two together, you're not put in a situation to where you're getting closer to them.
Yeah, I don't really know what you trade for, and. It's similar to the talk we had with the Hornets last week. They're in a really tough spot because they give really big contracts out again. Another team that gave out really bad contracts. I think a lot of that's a product of being a small market. When you got guys who are pretty good players, you got to give them big contracts to get them to sign.
Yeah.
So they gave a really bad contract to Al-Farouq Aminu. They gave a really bad contract to Mo Harkless. It's going to be hard to move those guys.
Yeah, it just puts you in a sticky situation because you needed to do that to keep your team afloat. But now that you're afloat, you're not moving anywhere.
People don't understand that. Yeah, it's easy to move those guys on 2K because, like, you know what I mean. Like, it's so easy to move them. Yeah. But you don't. But people don't realize, like, a lot of people on NBA Twitter don't realize this too. Is that like you have to match contracts.
Yeah.
It's really hard to match overpaid players. Really difficult, and that's why in the Hornets case, you trade a guy like Kemba to match, and then you can get a pretty good player in return. That's kind of what the Trailblazers are in. But again, CJ and Dame are both on maxes, so they're in. You might even say a worse spot.
Because if you're giving up Damon, then you're trying to dump a contract with
right.
him. You're
giving up like $50 million.
Yeah, you're giving up $50 million. And a team that will give you, say, a bubble all-star player
And
is
like
going to have
round,
to in a first rounder, they're going to have to give you good
another
players that they have
dumpy
good contracts.
Yeah, they're going to give you another bad contract too to match.
Yeah.
So that both teams can make the trade. Yeah, it's another
so
really tough
spot. You're kind of just stuck, and that's why this team just scares me because they're both. Neither of us are denying that these two players aren't amazing.
They're great.
Like I would love to have them on my team, but they're not doing anything together.
I think a guy, but going back to the original question, if I had to trade one of them, I think you trade CJ just because Dame he's big time. Like I think CJ has a lot more potential still because DJ is much more younger. But Dame, we know what he is. He can score the ball at will. He's one of the most clutch players in the NBA. Man, the kid's talented. I feel for him having to be out there in Portland. Okay, so that's it for our teams that might need to blow it up or continue to compete. Next segment is the biggest threat to the Cavs in the East. We talked about this last week. Cavs have been really struggling as of late. Nothing's really changed since we talked about that.
If anything, it's got worse with the Kevin Love and Isaiah Thomas.
Man, Kevin Love, always a scapegoat. I don't get it.
I know, man. I really want them to. If whatever trade they try to make, get Kevin Love out of there because he got his championship. Yeah, he doesn't deserve it anymore. Kevin Love, when he was on his game and when they allow him to be on his game, is a top 20 player.
Man, people give him so much crap. Does anyone remember on Christmas when LeBron played like absolute ass and Kevin Love was the sole reason they were even in that game? Like, come on, man. He gets so much crap.
His defense is alright, but his scoring is at an elite level. And he doesn't get the respect he deserves on a team like that with LeBron. And when anything goes bad, it's Kevin Love.
Yeah, and this is why it's so hard. This is why Kyrie wanted to leave too. Like, no one ever puts any blame on LeBron.
Yeah.
Ever. It's like it's always a second guy. It's always second. It's like the exact opposite of the Wizards, where like John Wall gets all the credit, or Bradley Beal gets another blame. John Wall takes all the blame.
Yeah.
You know, it's something. It's just like that. It's really weird.
So biggest threat. Obviously with the Raptors.
Yeah.
The way they've been playing, I would say they played them earlier this year, just a few weeks ago, and they beat them by nearly 30.
Yeah, that was crazy. Jakob Poeltl was balling. Yeah. Obviously the Raptors. And hey, credit to Dwayne Casey, man. The dude's a good coach. Like, he's getting the best out of DeMar DeRozan this year, who's been absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal player this year. Really dark horse MVP candidate because he's been that good. Kyle Lowry, still ageless wonder, 34, still balling out there. Good for him. And then you got guys like Jakob Poeltl's been playing a lot better. Serge Ibaka's been playing a lot better as of late. I really like their second year player, DeLon Wright. He's back for Kyle Lowry. He's been playing really well. And then another guy who's a no-name guy but needs to come out to light pretty soon is Fred VanVleet from Wichita State, I believe.
Oh yeah.
He's been playing really, really well when he's getting an opportunity, and I think that's one of the things that the Raptors have shown is that when you got, and like, this is kind of like what the Spurs do as well. When you got a good bench, it really does help out your stars. When you can get them like those 12 minutes of the game, they give them a little bit of a lead over the opposing team's other bench. Like, it really does help them and just coast to a win. They don't have to go all out every game. It's
really just having like that consistency throughout your whole team to where when you put this guy in, you know what he can do and you're going to maximize his potential, and then it puts you in a position to win every night.
Yeah, there's really nobody on that team that's really bad. Yeah. Like there are some players out on the teams that you're just like, damn, why is he in the NBA?
Why is he in the NBA? Yeah.
But every player on that team, I feel it has a role and they do it very well and they fill it very well. So that's a team to be reckoned with, and I think they need to get some respect. And then obviously, a team that has so much talent but continues to fail us is the Wizards. John Wall kind of having a down year this year. Bradley Beal's has been playing a lot better as of late. What do you think about the Wizards?
I don't know what they're doing, honestly. It seems like there's got to be something going on that is messing with that team, because we saw them last year and they were some dogs last year. Like, any given night they could beat any team, and I really feel like this year they underperform almost every night. Even when they win, I feel like it could be in a situation where they could have won by more or played a lot better. Yeah, John Wall as of this year has not impressed me. Yeah. I think he's shooting like 33% from 3 and like 42% of the field or something like that. Not good for John Wall standards. But I do like Bradley Beal's developed a little bit more. Maybe Scott Brooks has now leaned on Bradley Beal to be the number one option offensively. I don't know. He's averaging 23 a game, which is impressive. But
Yeah, and then and then another thing I really don't like about this team is like when do you use Otto Porter? The dude's literally shooting like 47% from three. This dude's a marksman, and they don't get him any touches. It makes no sense. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, just because of what you know or you've seen what
Yeah.
John Wall and Bradley Beal can do. So they're kind of like,
He was a
we
top
got
pick.
these two. Yeah, I know, but we got these two guys. So we just need to make these two work, and if everything works around it, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And we've seen this year that that's not true.
That's
anymore.
yeah.
So they do just need to incorporate players like that.
Yeah, I think they're another team that like I think they got a lot of really really shitty bench players.
Yeah,
a lot of shitty bench players. And then obviously the team that I think everyone thinks could beat the Cavs this year, Celtics. Your Celts.
Last night, obviously, the game did not end how we wanted it to, but both Kyrie and Steph went off, which was a lot of fun to watch, seeing this team compete. The only thing I always think about in these close games, it might be kind of just a scapegoat thought process, but I just think about what the team would be like if Gordon Hayward was out there playing instead of Jason Tatum. I mean, because Jason Tatum's been great, but Gordon Hayward was an all-star last year. So if you just had this team with all them, I mean, I really do believe that they could vie for a championship.
I don't know if they can compete for a championship as of right now.
No, not right now. I'm saying with Gordon Hayward.
No, I know. I'm including Gordon Hayward in this just because, man, I'm not saying I'm not even trying to hate yourselves because I really do like them. I like Brad Stevens is an absolute mastermind. So much respect for him as a coach. Man, when you see that Warriors lineup in the finals,
yeah,
and you see two top 3 players in the NBA,
yeah,
not to mention two top 25 players with Clay and Draymond, it's like, sheesh.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat. I mean,
but I think with the Celtics again, they're another team that every player on their bench is solid. I mean, except for Shane Larkin, he's trash. But
well, yeah, Shane Larkin, he played like a little kind of too many minutes last night. That's just because Marcus Smart is hurt. Yeah. So it was definitely weird seeing Shane out there in the first quarter running around trying to chase Steph. But
yeah.
Besides that, yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole bench. I mean, we got at least, I think we have 6 rookies on the team, and they all play minutes.
Yeah, Semi Ojeleye,
Daniel Dice, obviously Jason Tatum. But yeah, they put in good minutes, they put in good work, and Brad Stevens knows how to make all of them work together.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just seems like Brad Stevens, similar to Pop, gets the most out of his players.
Yeah.
Like, he just knows how to get every ounce of talent out of them, and I totally respect that.
Yeah, and I think because of that, similar to the Raptors and the Spurs, it gives you a chance to win every single night.
And I think Brad Stevens is just such a great basketball mind that he just like he's like a computer out there. He sees a mismatch, immediately attacks it.
Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday on Twitter, and it was like Jason Tatum was in the high post with I think Dennis Smith Jr. or something. I don't remember. But long story short, Jason Tatum was in the post against a really small player, and he literally the small player was defending Jason Tatum, and he literally just told Kyrie, throw it to the post, let JT score. Because like he just knows, man. He's just so smart.
My only, I not necessarily complain. Just I mean, the Celtics are in first place, so you can't really like complain about a team. But with Jason Tatum, I wish he would like try to take over a game a little more. Not the whole game, but like when he gets the ball, I notice a lot. He'll get the ball and he immediately is looking for the next pass. Yeah, and I feel like he has a talent to where that he could. I mean, he's a good ball handler, and that he should try to utilize his elite scoring potential a lot more. Because
I feel that
he's scoring, but I feel like I said, he could just be doing a lot more.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
But besides that, they've been playing pretty solid. Last night, couldn't win either way. Kyrie had, 45, 47? I
think it
37. Oh, no, not Kyrie.
37.
Steph.
Steph had 49.
Steph had 49. Kyrie had 37. So, I mean, they were duking it out all game. It was really fun to watch, but...
And that last night proved to me a thing that I pretty much had in the back of my mind. But Kyrie, he's similar to LeBron. He coasts in the regular season, but when there's big games, he balls. He I really think that just shows how good he really is. Because then he's showing you most of the time he's going about 75%. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
And last night you saw Kyrie at like 100%, and man was he on.
Yeah.
He balled. So that's gonna cover it for our NBA talk for this week. There's one more segment we wanted to do, and it would basically be one story from me and Dalton for the week. An interesting story that we had, and I know mine off top, so I'll say mine. Mine happened last night. So last night I was at the bar with some friends, and I got in because our buddy works the front door at the bar. Of course, I'm 19, and we go to get our drinks. Me and my friend Daniel Stock last name. If I shouldn't have said that, but Me and my friend Stock got our drinks, and immediately we got carded by another bouncer. I know, and we
Double carded.
Yep, double carded, and we got tossed.
Oh.
And it was one of the worst moments of my life.
Billy came to my house afterwards. We
I
were
was
just
livid.
chilling, and he was
I was hot.
ranting. I was telling Billy, save it for the podcast. He seems a little cooled down now, but last night Billy was ready to box.
I just gotten like pretty much finesse for $7.
Yeah.
Like I was like, bro, come on, man. There's more important stuff. There's people like, there's people like they're out here like foaming at the mouth. You remember about two dudes who just got in who were pretty much stone cold sober.
Yeah. Come on,
man. All right, what about you? What do you got? What do you got to say?
I mean, damn, I don't know if I really got a story this week. I just been working, started working again. We've been working on the podcast a lot. I guess that's been exciting. I got a Juul, I guess. That's pretty dope. I like it a lot. But besides that, I just been chilling, trying to do good in school.
Yeah.
Work my shit. Yeah, play Fortnite, but it's average little kid shit, I guess.
Yeah, another really quick announcement is that we're going to try to start podcasting twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's really tough in college because our schedules are really clicky. And like,
plus trying to just work out what it's like making a podcast.
But as of right now, we're going to try to record on Sundays and Wednesdays and have it out to you guys by nighttime.
Yep. Sundays and Wednesdays, there's 2 days. Obviously, Sunday, really nothing's going on. And then Wednesday is the best day for our schedule because we like to do it at the nighttime, put it out that night. But just trying to experience and kind of tinker around with how to make a podcast. I think we're just kind of learning as we go.
Yeah, so, I think we're at the point where we feel as if it picks up some steam, we'll start to do a lot more with it.
Get a lot more with it. Yeah, we're working on trying to get mics, so we're not. We're just recording off of Billy's laptop.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's just Billy's speaker on his laptop. So whenever it's quiet or if it's too loud, it's just because it's kind of picking it up weird. But besides that, I mean, we're gonna start taking we are taking this pretty serious. We're gonna be working on it really hard because we want to make good content.
Yeah, for sure.
Like bar none, that's what we want to do. We want to bring good sports opinions, talk good about sports, and maybe make you think about sports in a different way that you already were.
Yeah, we've also thought about a little bit, maybe bringing in some friends to talk, maybe for a couple segments or something, or for a show. So, if you have any opinions on that, let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments down below.
Yep.
Like, subscribe.
So that's gonna do it for today. Thanks for tuning in for our second installment, and we'll hopefully see you on Wednesday. We hope you have a blessed Sunday.
Stay blessed.
Yep. Go to church and have a good rest of your evening.